Thank you for the invitation and for the kind words. So, first of all, artificial intelligence is an emerging research area at the intersection of artificial intelligence and ethics that explores whether and how artificial systems can be endowed with moral capacities. So there are many meanings associated with artificial morality in the discourse of ethics and digitalization. When Clara asked me to give a talk on this important idea, I thought I would elaborate my own meaning to this day. Indeed, I only have managed to give an overview of the different meanings associated with the concept of artificial morality. As a result, this presentation provides an outline of some of the core significances of the artificial morality, as well as philosophical work that engages with them. So while I will give you a summary of the different occurrences of the expression artificial morality, I will try to present an insightful account of its evolution. So the focus is primarily on epistemological and ethical issues that arise when presenting, constructing, characterizing, and using the concept of artificial morality. Some key questions and findings about moral machines are also discussed in this presentation. So then, first of all, we have the first occurrence of this expression. 1992, Peter Danielson offered the first occurrence of the expression in his book, Artificial Morality, Virtuous Robots for Virtual Games. And he presents artificial morality as a method. So a method for what? Artificial morality is, according to him, a method for providing a fundamental justification for moral constraint, for moral claims. So maybe, we need some background knowledge. So in 1625, in his book on the law of war and peace, Hugo Grotius asserted that human beings would have obligations. And he states, even if that there is no God or that the affairs of men are of no concern to him, we should concede that we will have a moral problem. But two of his followers, Thomas Hobbes and Pufendorf, thought that Grotius was wrong. However socially useful moral conduct might be, they argued, it is not really obligatory unless some sovereign authority backed by the power of sanctions lays it down as the law. Others, in turn, disagreed with them, and so the argument began. And Danielson is in this line. So ever since then, modern moral philosophers have been engaged in a debate about the foundations of morality, foundations of ethics. So we need to be sure, we need to understand that morality is objective. And Peter Danielson shares this goal with another another philosopher who engages with meta-ethics, David Gauthiers. And he says, we are committed to showing why an individual reasoning from non-moral premises would accept the constraints of a morality on his or their choices. So Danielson uses the goal of fundamental justification to focus his argument by choosing its starting points. So fundamental justification leads us to the compliance problem as a crucial problem and to the games as the best models of this problem. He also defines artificial morality in terms of two contrasts. First, artificial morality is closely related to contractarianism, so Danielson contrasted his approach with the well-known contractarian theories of Hobbes, Rawls, and Gautier. And second, artificial morality uses games, somewhat differently from the theory of games. It is an alternative to the game theory and to its answers to the question about the foundation of moral. Therefore, artificial morality is a viable method to provide metaethical insight, according to Danielson. So metaethics is the attempt to understand the metaphysical, epistemological, semantic, and psychological presuppositions and commitments of moral thought, talk, and practice. So this is the first meaning. Second meaning. The second meaning concerns intentional system. 1997, Daniel Dennett, in his essay, When Hal Kills, Who is to Blame, presents the normative requirement needed to view artificial systems in relation to us. In particular, so he says that the constraints are to be endowed with cognitive and motivational states which allow the intentional system to be, there are two important moral properties, predictable and explainable. So the third meaning is by Luciano Floridi and Sanders, 2004. They provide an extensive account for what they call mindless morality. So this implies a concept of a moral agent that not necessarily exhibits free will, mental states, or responsibility. So, and this complements the more traditional approach common, at least since Montaigne and Descartes, who considers whether or not artificial agents have mental states, feelings, emotions, and so on. This move, made by Floridi and Sanders, 2004, has a number of consequences. Some of them represent a real advancement in the discourse about artificial morality. In particular, by directly focusing on mindless morality, Floridi and Sanders are able to avoid the thorny question whether machines have consciousness or whether machines can think, and also many other concerns of artificial intelligence. So the next one is a paper from 2006 by Colin Allen, Eva Smith, and Wendell Wallach, who in their paper argue for strategies for implementing artificial morality and the differing criteria for success that are appropriate to different strategies. So they have a kind of follow-up in this book, authored by Wendell Wallach and Colin Allen, 2009. And in this book, Moral Machines, Teaching Robots Right from Wrong, they address again the question whether machine sentience is possible. They advocate for a robust view of ethics in which machines can have feelings, sentience, and consciousness, and therefore are inherently capable of being moral actors. So in 2016, there has been a DADS2 seminar in which Fisher, List, Slavosky, and Winfield have constrained the boundaries of artificial agents. They are agents that behave as moral agents. And the meaning of this as moral agent is that they are able to adhere to moral, legal, and social norms. And then there is the last one. This is a paper by Katrin Misserhorn, 2018, which sets the stage for the prospects and challenges of artificial morality. So, and as you can see, we have a number of questions. First of all, she states that we should neither trust the visions of technofreaks nor the equally simplistic fears of technophobics. We should instead try to differentiate. And so then we have a number of questions that we can address from the background of artificial morality, which are: how can artificial morality be designed beneficially? In which context can it be used for the good? Which expectations and hopes prove realistic? So, and which traits can really occur, and how do we evaluate them? And finally, which moral values are important for us as individuals and as a society? And how will artificial morality affect them and transform them? So we are just at the conclusions. Given this background, it is possible to state as a provisional conclusions that the idea of artificial morality is still incomplete and contaminated by suggestions coming from science fiction in literature and film, which is not necessarily bad, as we can perform a lot of mental experiments in literature and in film. So the prospects for artificial morality are great for meta-ethical outcomes, so we can have more insight in theory of moral justification, and for corresponding technical, robust implementation. And thank you.